Holy, we have a lot to talk about. There have been leaks about the new Warzone map that's going to be coming with the MW3 integration this fall, as well as new mechanics and some exciting things that are going to get people back to the OG roots that we felt back in Warzone 1. There have also been some massive meta changes as well, because typically meta changes happen early in a season, like right at the season launch, or in a mid-season update. But we got basically like a secret tweet last week, and it completely changed the meta. And I don't know if it's because of World Series of Warzone, the content's not flowing, but I haven't heard anyone talking about this, and I still see people rocking the wrong guns. So we're going to be talking about that today. If you guys want to keep up to date on all Warzone news and gameplay guides, make sure to subscribe here with notifications on for even more Warzone info. Okay, let's get into the most exciting part of today. It's the leak. Okay, this is from Metaphor. Metaphor is a fellow content creator, but he has also been a reliable leaker in the past probably year and a half. I don't know who he knows in the studio, but he has been like spot on with every insight he has had for the past year and a half or so. Okay, now in generally, I'm not a big fan of leaks. I don't like to leak like content things that are happening, but for me, this is talking about the future of Warzone in terms of like the players are going to get what they have been asking for, and more importantly, what has been like ripped away from them with the divergent change we've had going into Warzone 2. So for me, this is more of a leak of like, hey, brighter future is ahead. We're not spoiling content, but hey, look at this. The new Warzone map coming in MW3 looks amazing. Slide canceling is in the current build. It was also in MW2, but removed. Keep in mind, when the creators were gassing MW2 and Warzone 2 at COD Next, granted, we all hated the AI, and we were all blatant about that, and finally it's gone. But we had B-hopping. We had slide canceling. In the beta, in the open beta that we all played, we all had that like more dynamic movement. And then I don't know if there were complaints about it after the beta, or if the devs were complaining about it after the beta when it got in our hands, but it was ripped out in between the beta and launch. So as of right now, it's in the current build. We will see. For the map, there is no giant hill in the middle of the map. There's tons of buildings and POIs, unlike Caldera, which was super open and sparse, and then lots of areas that look memorable. So there's no Zaya Observatory. There's no Caldera Peak. There's no gotta land in the center, or if the zone pulls, you're a mountain climbing Billy Goat working your way up top. Really nice change there. I think it'll be people's favorite map. It says downtown is very Verdansk-like, with the biggest building being Overwatch from MW3 DLC at the very top, reminiscent of Blackout's construction site. Countdown from COD 4 is also in the map, but the gameplay looks exactly like MW2, but improved, hoping they make animation smoother and faster. I agree. I think Infinity Ward makes a beautiful game. The engine can kind of be a little buggy in servers. I think that's more Activision Blizzard, but I think they make a great base game. I think the way they tune their game to make it feel is the main problem that people have, and it all goes back to their roots of all the devs there play DMZ. Most of the devs there play DMZ from when I went there and I talked to them, and that's fine. I think it's a beautiful game mode, and it makes a lot of sense for people who want that. But then they forced that tactical, slow, sluggish, immersive gameplay into an arcade battle royale and an arcade multiplayer that we've been enjoying for the past decade. And that's where the divergent shift has been. DMZ can be great, but let us have our game back, and we're all hoping they make animation smoother and faster. As of right now, slide canceling still in the build. I agree with Huskers when he says, can you make sure the guns don't shake the entire screen? That's been an issue, especially for keyboard and mouse players. But then finally, he says less open fields and more building-based battles. Looks like they have a ton of opportunity for regaining, and honestly wouldn't be surprised if they tried pushing past the 150 player limit again. Could be exciting. RIP the servers. We'll see how that goes. This map has a ton of Verdansk inspiration and little to no inspiration from Al Mazrah and Caldera. Now, I hope they take the lessons learned from Al Mazrah and Caldera, because at least in Verdansk, it was a lot of buildings that had one-way entry, and there was only one way you could get into that building. Granted, with the new mantle system that we have and also some of the more intentional designs, there's only a few places in Al Mazrah that feel like sort of unbreakable. Hopefully there aren't a lot of stuff like that in this new map, whatever it's called, because it is so urban. Hopefully it's not Stairway Simulator. Hopefully there's redeploy balloons at launch and ascenders at launch and abilities to like flank these buildings, but we will see. Now, with all that in mind, if we are going to be having a little bit of movement back in the game, and we are going to be having a little bit of skill gap back in the game, okay, ladies and gentlemen, get your hands on a Scuff, okay? Go down to the pinned comment and the description. You guys know a Scuff is my weapon of choice for all things, especially when it comes to slide canceling. If you remember back in the OG days of Verdansk, okay, you would need to go slide, slide, jump, slide, slide, jump. And rather than trying to take your thumb off or reach your finger over, use the paddles in the back, man. It's that easy. You've got 4 remappable paddles on the back. You've got digital triggers, which is just a little mouse click for the rapid fire that you need for, like when we had the obnoxious SO14 meta. I was putting these little mouse clicks to use. Even right now, okay, you get into game, even without slide canceling. What I think is a more jarring mechanic, and I talked about this in my movement video, okay, is snaking. And it is not easy to snake without a Scuff in your hand. Okay, and this is just absolutely shattering people's cameras harder than it is with the slide cancel, especially when you start to throw in the double jump hop that we talked about. Go watch World Series of Warzone. I think I'm going to make a whole dedicated video on this of people who are doing this mechanic right here called ground snaking. You are proning and jumping and shattering cameras, and it is only possible through a custom controller like Scuff or breaking your finger with arthritis. And frankly, I can't aim with a claw while I'm doing that. Okay, links in the pinned comment and the description. I got my own custom design. You can check it out, both Xbox designs, PlayStation 5 designs, and they all work on PC as well. This is my weapon of choice. I could not play Warzone at a high level without it. Go ahead and check it out. Okay, now let's talk about some high level gameplay. How are we going to get the high level gameplay? We got to know the meta. Okay, bringing it in over here. Sorry for the double transition. There was a lot of nerfs. Okay, these nerfs all went live a few days ago. Okay, the Lochman got nerfed. The Cronin Squall got nerfed. The M4 got nerfed, which was a stray. Oh, why can't we have an M4 meta? I don't know, but it got nerfed. Basilisk, heavily nerfed. Snake shots, X13 auto, heavily nerfed. Tac 56, headshot multiplier got decreased. MX Guardian, the new fully auto shotty, nerfed. And Tac Siege got nerfed as well. In my opinion, all great things, okay? Basilisk and X13 were grossly overpowered. So is the Cronin Squall in terms of the overall AR meta. But by nerfing everything, it effectively raises the TTK, and I think this is an amazing change, and it is a rare time where Infinity Ward has realized they had made a gross, unbalanced mistake, especially with these 3, and made a change that wasn't a mid-season or end-of-season update. So a rare W heading out to Infinity Ward. Okay, so in today's video, we're going to be covering all of the loadouts. I'm going to give you screenshots, and these are like the last guns that you need to be using in the final days of the update. Okay, let's go ahead and take a look at it. This is old Iceman talking about how freaking powerful it was. Listen in. Milliseconds, okay? Your meta moving forward is going to be the Cronin, the X13, or Cronin and the snake shots. We'll cover the snake shot in a future. Full auto. It was so good. Okay, I hovered over it right there for a second. It was 600 milliseconds for the Cronin Squall. It was better than the RAL, the 50 BMG LMG. Now let's bring over to it and take a look at what we're working with now. Okay, the Cronin is now in line with things like the Tac V, the RAL, the Seiken. The Lochman, dear God, don't touch it. Okay, it's bad. It's really bad, especially at long ranges. It's really bad. Okay, and you think it's just a Lochman? Some people I've been seeing pulling out the ISO Hemlock. Do not jump on that bandwagon either. Okay, look at that damage range fall off. It is not it. Okay, so let's talk about what is. Okay, in my opinion, my 2 favorite guns to run right now are the Cronin Squall and the Tac V. Okay, I rock the Tac V as kind of like my rebirth gun, and I rock the Cronin Squall as my tournament gun, AR, ranked gun, etc. You can, depending on your squad's playstyle and your own personal aggression, you can rock things like, in my opinion, the RAL, which has a really fast TTK, and the Seiken, which doesn't have the best TTK up close, so it's not the best mid-range weapon, but the minimal recoil and the 100-round mag makes it a really fun long-range gun to use. I've seen people gassing up the RAP, even the homie Sally. I love the gun, but just keep in mind you are going to burn through ammo. Okay, it has like a 75-round mag, an extremely fast fire rate. It's a great gun to use for maybe solos, but just keep in mind with that faster fire rate, and you're doing less damage per mag, and I think you're going to get more value out of something like the RAL. But at the end of the day, the BR meta is here, the battle rifle meta. is here. Okay, we're going to talk about individual builds here in a bit, but real quick, let's get into what happened over on the SMG front. So if you remember beforehand, the X13 auto and the Basilisk with 300 HP were killing in like 300 milliseconds. It was grossly overpowered. Okay, now we compare it to the Lochman, which is kills around 600 milliseconds, and now they don't even hang. Even the Basilisk, if you are point blank, you know, 2 shots, akimbo, it will not kill. It will not kill as fast as the Lochman sub. Same with the X13 auto. They both fall off. They are secondary weapons, and they finally are performing like secondary weapons. And if you are sacrificing a perk to rock a primary weapon, it's balanced. Okay, so let's talk about what weapons we should be using. In my opinion, there's only really 4. I think there's only really 2 that you should consider. But we'll talk about that. It's still the Lochman ISO meta. Until that changes, maybe the mid-season update or the new season update that we have coming next week, Lochman and ISO are going to be dominant. Okay, it seems like the Vaznev is pretty much line on line with the Lochman. So why don't we see enough people rocking the Vaznev? It's because the headshot multiplier. Okay, the Lochman can like kind of like get you out of some really crappy situations through the headshot multiplier, whereas the Vaznev just doesn't have that oomph to it. I mean, look at the ISO headshot multiplier. Dear God. You see, as I go to the chest, everything kind of condenses back together, but just the Vaznev just doesn't have the headshot multiplier, so that's why I don't suggest rocking it. Okay, the FSS Hurricane got a stray buff. Wasn't expecting it, and it's actually pretty decent on the numbers, and it shoots really straight. So you might consider running that as well, but in my opinion, the last few days of the season, if you're just trying to log on and figure out what to run, we're going to cover that right now. Okay, so let's go ahead and get into some of the builds that we're going to be rocking. Okay, so in my opinion, this is the build to rock, all right, for the Cronin. Everyone knows F-Tac Ripper, everyone knows 6.8 barrel. You can use the sight of your choice and the 50-round drum mag, but it's kind of back and forth which one you want to use on the muzzle. It seems like most people are going one of 2 ways. They're either going for the Seiken Tread, which largely takes away vertical, or they're going for the TLR8, which takes away horizontal. I have always been of the camp of I don't want horizontal shake. I would much rather have a controllable straight up pattern, and then I just control the left to right with my hand, and that's the build that I have here. Not even warm, like haven't even shot my gun a lot, and this just Cronin is absolutely beaming. Okay, I'll go ahead and give you a screenshot right here. If you are screenshotting, make sure you are subscribed here for the Academy. You're pressing your 2 buttons. You're doing what you need to do. Do me a favor, tap your screen, like the video, and subscribe if you enjoy the value that I provide. Okay, now let's go ahead and get into the SMG meta. I love my Lochman build. Okay, look at this thing. Super fast. Obviously, if you're rocking duos or maybe even trios, I was rocking this as a sniper support, so I was rocking the 50-round drum. If I was rocking this with an AR, I would rock it with a 40-round drum. And it's so much fun to use. Still very snappy. But watch, more importantly, the recoil. Close target, easy. Medium target, easy. And I can even get decently consistent shots at a target 50 meters away. Like, this is my favorite Lochman build. It's all I've been rocking lately. I've had people asking me for the build, both in chat and other players. It's a lot of fun to use. So 40-round mag if you're rocking it with an AR, 50-round mag if you're rocking it with a sniper, overpressured round, because what the overpressured rounds are going to do is they're going to cause the target to flinch. And that target flinch takes place whenever they're on health, when you're doing health damage. So whenever you're hitting someone with armor, it doesn't do anything. But the second you start hitting them with health and you hit them with overpressured rounds, their screen will flinch and turn white. And it's really jarring when you're trying to like win a gunfight and you have 150 HP to go through of like basically getting flashbanged while you're getting shot at. The Lacerda compensator helps you out with recoil stabilization, especially once again on that horizontal front. We have the Falcon 226 barrel, which is going to help us out with our movement speed. And then the factory recoil stock causes this thing to be a laser. Once again, if you are screenshotting, make sure you are subscribing. Okay, moving over to what I think is probably the most dominant gun in the game. We didn't talk about it too much in terms of the AR meta, but if you watched any World Series of Warzone, if you've played any ranked, you know the Signal 50 is just so incredibly powerful from power positions because of its damage profile. Okay, we'll just go ahead and pull it up over here just as an individual damage profile. Go to sniper rifles, go over to Signal 50, and you just go to these numbers and you realize with 300 base health, you can kill someone in 2 shots to the chest. I mean, technically, if we were to bring it over here against some of the ARs, all right, so we got our AR meta. Let's go ahead and bring in our sniper rifle. Signal 50. Technically, the Signal 50, if you're hitting two chest shots, kills faster than any of these guns because it's 178 to the chest, 2 shots to the chest, or it's 1 shot to the head and then anywhere on the body. So if you hit someone with a headshot with the Signal, it's 1 shot to the head or anywhere to the body. And this is keeping in mind without throwing on these other barrels, which will help extend that damage range and bullet velocity. So let's go ahead and get into what the build actually looks like. So we get in here, we get into the gun, and we are rocking for max bullet velocity. So we go for high velocity ammo, the nil sound silencer. There are some other silencers that could add more bullet velocity, but it penalizes your ADS. I'm not going to get into it in a short video like this. FSS OLEV laser is going to show the laser, but the biggest thing that it's going to help out with is aiming idle stability. Okay, I'll show you what I mean here in a moment. We have the 29-inch barrel to once again help out with that bullet velocity and damage range, and then sight of your choice. If you're rocking thermals, I would suggest the Schlogger Night View, or if you're just rocking regulars, I would really suggest the FTAC Delta 4. Okay, but what I mean by aiming idle stability is when I'm aiming down sight and I take my hand off the controller, you can see, yeah, it's moving a little bit, but let's say I center on his head and okay, it might go like a few inches outside of his head, but you know, as I'm trying to control this with just my thumb without even holding my breath, I can keep it where I need it to be, right? But then when I get rid of this laser and I bring it in, and now I try to center on the head, and look how far that thing is pulling away, right? And so when you're trying to snipe someone from very far away, it's like you have to hold your breath to hit a decent shot. And that's just, in my opinion, a very jarring experience. So, ladies and gentlemen, this is my signal of choice. Make sure you are subscribing if you're screenshotting. All right. I personally, when I'm playing pubs, I like to rock double time and fast hands, and then bird's eye, because bird's eye got buffed and allows you to see everyone on the map. I rock smokes and simtexes, smokes and frags, and then smokes and throwing knives if I'm playing resurgence. Once again, 50 round mag if I am playing for sniper support. Yes, an ISO is better. An ISO has a better damage range. Okay, if we go over here and we go over to this category right here, let's get rid of the other queep. We'll see that the ISO is better. It's the time to kill is faster at longer ranges, which would technically make the ISO a better sniper support. But something about it for me, I wasn't feeling confident with it. Okay, even with my Lacerda build, it just, something was feeling off. This is totally personal preference. I think it's just how much that gun shakes side to side. Like, look at all that shake. And then compare that to, and this is with a Lacerda, so I'm doing everything I can to tune away its side to side bounce. And it's just still shaking like nobody's business. Super great for clearing out buildings, and maybe for your personal preference you could like it, but I compare that to my MP5, and for me, I would much rather shoot this MP5 at range than the Lacerda, which does this S curve back and forth and back and forth and back and forth. And just notice how much more closely connected vertically all of these bullets are than these, which make pretty harsh jumps. ISO is still a crazy good gun. If the MP5 ever got nerfed, I would run this thing in a heartbeat. It would be 45 round drum, Lacerda compensator. Demo Fade Tac helps out so much with strafe speed. Slimline Pro helps out a lot with the, because I don't like the iron sight, and the 7-inch Raptor also helps out with strafe as well. But that would be my gun of choice for the ISO. Okay, moving forward into something that might be a little bit more fun. Like I mentioned there, here's the RAL. If you want to give it a try, go ahead and give it a try. I think the Cronin, since it's basically line on line in terms of T2K, you can try rocking this gun. It hits like an absolute truck, though. And notice how little recoil this gun has, and it still feels pretty dang snappy. And I haven't seen enough people rocking it, but here is the build. We have high velocity. We have the BVM, which helps out so much with horizontal shake. Rhino barrel, FSS OLEV laser, and then I rock the Lone Wolf optic because it allows me to zoom in a little bit farther. Moving forward, we can also throw on the Seiken. Once again, this is kind of something I talked about where you're going to feel more sluggish compared to if you were using something like the Cronin, but just a very controllable gun. Like, this is like a Verdansk feeling gun. Like, I'm shooting this gun and I'm just not even focusing on my aim. That's kind of how the Wrap feels as well, where it's just like so little visual recoil, very minimal recoil. Just a very fun gun to use, okay? We're rocking the Cronin WL55 barrel. We have the Polar Fire S. We have the AIM-OP. We have the FSS OLEV. And we have the Bruin Silver Series barrel. But what is probably my favorite gun to rock right now, and I just have a blast using it, it's the good old Tac V. It kills just as fast as the Cronin, but it feels a little bit snappier. And there's just something about shooting an iron sight that just feels so right, especially in a small map like Vondel or Ashika. Okay, hits like a truck, 50-round mag, and a super fast reload. This is my favorite gun to run right now, just because, I don't know, I played a lot of Search and Destroy tournaments in early Modern Warfare 2 and had success with them with the Tac in my hand. It was Tac 56, but Tac V makes it feel like it. Okay, 50-round drum, high velocity, F-Tac Ripper, Seiken Tread, and then the Precision Barrel as well. But, ladies and gentlemen, that's going to go ahead and wrap it up. Actually, I'll go ahead and show you my water pistol real quick. I think it's important that everyone rocks a water pistol, okay? We got the Siege Wire stock. We've got 72-round drum mag. We have overpressured rounds, once again, causing that flinch. We have the Rebel to help out with recoil. And then we have the Ratchet BE, which helps out the most with damage range. Okay, and according to, I think it was Exclusive Afe's video, helping out with that damage range will help reach out a little bit further in the water. And as you can see, very, very easy to control. If you need a gun to use in the water, this is my weapon of choice. Okay, water pistol right here. Some people suggest rocking a Kimbo. I'm not a fan of that. I would rather make sure I'm hitting all of my shots with that 72-round drum mag. Make sure you're rocking this for your F-Tac Siege class. Cool. Ladies and gentlemen, exciting video, exciting times ahead. Hope you guys appreciate me giving you a little bit of an update on the meta as we head into the new season. Make sure you have liked the video if you haven't already. Make sure you have checked out that link. Just click on the link, boys. Check it out. I mean, it's a dang good looking controller. This is a custom IceManIsaac design. You can see it fits in right here with the setup. If you want to check it out, it has changed my game, and I think it'll change yours too. Whether it's snaking in this game, ground snaking in this game, or even just hitting the tap to dive off as you go to parachute off a building, and especially since we've got slide canceling on the horizon with Modern Warfare 3, at least according to those leaks. But, ladies and gentlemen, hope you guys enjoyed today's video. If you did, make sure to check me out live over on Twitch, and I'll see you all on the next one. Peace.